This video is going to cover proportions. What proportions are, if you look at something like a fraction, if you multiply that fraction by 1, you get that fraction back, right? Well, what if you multiply that fraction by 3 over 3, which is essentially 1? Well, you get a different number in the numerator and in the denominator without actually changing the original fraction. So let me do an example of what I mean. So let's take a look at something like 1 over 8. Okay, when we multiply 1 over 8 by 1 over 1, what do we end up with? 1 times 1 is 1, over 8 times 1 is 8. So we haven't changed anything. But what happens when we do this? Let me write down here. What if we do 1/8 but times 3 over 3, which 3 over 3 is 1, so essentially it's the same as what we did in the first problem. But let's do it. So we get 1 times 3, we end up with 3, over 8 times 3 is 24. So we end up with 3 over 24, which, because we multiplied it by 1, is actually 1/8, but with different numbers in the numerator and the denominator. So they're the same thing. They're the same number, just different because we multiplied it by 1, but a different number than 1 over 1. So essentially, or actually, 1 over 8 is the same as 3 over 24. And you can do this with any number. So what we're going to be doing with this video or with this worksheet is checking to see if two fractions are indeed equal, if they're equivalent. So let's take a look at 4 over 2 and 20 over 6 for number 1. And there's actually multiple ways to find out if 4 over 2 and 20 over 6 are equal. I'm going to show you one method. One method is setting them equal. 4 over 2 equals, and then you always put a question mark because we don't know if it equals actually 20 over 6. And we're going to do cross multiplication. So we're going to do 4 times 6, which is 24, equals, with a question mark because we don't know if it's true yet, 2 times 20, which is 40. 24 doesn't equal 40, so no. These are not proportional. These are not equivalent. Look at number 2. 3 over 2 and 18 over 8. Let's do a different method. Let's put 3 over 2, multiply it by something, and check to see if it equals 18 over 8. So looking at 3 times something to equal 18. 3 times what equals 18? Well, 6. So let's put 6 on top, and we have to put 6 on the bottom. 3 times 6 gives us 18, so that checks out. 2 times 6 equals 12, not 8, so that doesn't work. So again, this one, no, this is not proportional. Okay, let's look at number 3. Let's do the first method, and we'll switch off between the first method and the other method just to practice these out. So let's see if we do 4 over 3 equals question mark 16 over 12. And let's do cross multiplication. So 4 times 12 gives us 48 equals question mark 16 times 3 ends up equaling 48 also. So yes, this one, well, I'm going to keep it capital so we can keep it consistent. So yes, number 3, those are proportional. Number 4, 4/3 and 8/6. So we're going to do the multiplying straight across. 4 over 3 times some number equals 8 over 6. So 4 times what gives us 8? 2, since we put 2 on top, we have to put 2 on the bottom. 4 times 2 is 8, 3 times 2 is 6. Those both check out. So number 4 is yes, those are proportional. Okay, number 5. So I can already see that if we do cross multiplication, we're going to get kind of big numbers. 24 times 3, not big numbers, but having to do long division, if you don't know how to do it in your head already, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's do a different method. We'll do the way we did number 4, where we're multiplying across a factor of 1, but in this case we're actually going to divide to see if it works. So let's do 12 over 24 divided by some numbers equal question mark 3 over 4. So 12 divided by what gives us 3? So let's put 4. If we put 4 on the top, we have to put 4 on the bottom. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. That checks out. 24 divided by 4 equals 6, not 4. So that doesn't work. So in this case, number 5, no, they are not proportional. Number 6. 6/9 equals question mark 2 over 3. We'll do cross multiplication on this. 6 times 3 gives us 18 equals question mark 9 times 2, which is 18, and yes, that ends up working out. So those fractions are proportional. Awesome. Number 7. So now they're telling us that there's two fractions that are proportional, but we don't know what this bottom letter, this bottom number, the denominator, what that value equals. So we're assuming that they're equal, and because like we noticed that like in this number 5 we multiplied it by 4 over 4, two of the same numbers. We're going to be doing the same concept in 7. So let's do the cross multiplication method. So 10 times 4 gives us 40 equals 8 times k gives us 8k. Okay, so we want to get k by itself. So what are we going to do? We're going to divide both sides by 8. 40 over 8 gives us 5 equals 8 and the 8 cancel or reduce, and we get k left over, so k equals 5. And that's what they want us to do. Solve each proportion. We find the value of k equals 5. Number 8, same concept. M times 3 gives us 3m equals 10 times 10 is 100. So what are we going to do next? We got to get the m by itself. So what we're going to do is divide both sides by 3. And when we do 3 divided by 3 on the left side, we end up canceling those 3's out, and we end up with m equals 100 divided by 3. If you do it in your calculator, you end up get 33.3 repeated, and that's our final answer for m. Number 9. 2 over x equals 7 over 9, so we cross multiply. 2 times 9 equals 18 equals 7 times x is 7x. Divide both sides by 7, and when we do it in the calculator, 18 divided by 7, we end up getting 2.57 equals, these cancel, we end up with x left over, so x equals 2.57. Number 10. 3 over x equals 7 over 10. So cross multiply. 3 times 10 is 30 equals 7 times x gives us 7x. And when we divide both sides by 7, we end up getting 30 divided by 7 on this side is 4.29. 7's cancel. We end up with x on this side,